Wait, one. Let me get my camera right. Be patient for a second. There I am. I haven't made one of these. It's like 4:30 in the morning. I haven't made. This to the Sunday. I slept half a day, so I'm paying for it now. I can't sleep. Anyway, I thought I'd take this opportunity. I haven't made one of these spooky videos in quite a while. What's the craziest thing I've ever done? Probably ranks one or two. It ranks the top. What's the craziest thing that you would call crazy that I've ever done? And I did it for a few months. This I was about 25 years old. This is back in 1988 or 1989. I know it wasn't 1990 yet. No, I think it was 1988. Anyway, my uncle was having a house built on the Kentucky-Tennessee state line, McCreary County. And I guess he knew he could trust me. Anyway, he begged me. He says, I want to pay you. And he's my uncle by marriage. He said, I want to pay you for nothing. Of course, I knew he was having a house built. I knew where he was going with this. He said, I can't remember. It seemed like he gave me $179 every Friday. He said, I'll pay you every Friday, cash. He said, well, one time I think he wrote me a check. But anyway, he said, I want you to, there's a mobile home over there. He just bought the property. He bought 110 acres. Now, it's middle of nowhere. The gravel road alone is probably 2.5 miles long. And I didn't have a mountain bike at that time. I had a road bike. So parts of the road I could ride a bike on, and parts of the road I couldn't because the gravel was too large. Anyway, he says, I'm having, a lot of lumber delivered here. He said, I want you to stay here at night if you want to guard the place. And he said, I'm going to give you a gun. He gave me a choice, shotgun or a rifle, and I took the rifle with a scope, gave me several boxes of bullets. He said, now, I want you to stay here overnight, and if you see anybody trespassing, tell him, here's what he told me, tell him to get the hell off the property. He had this property posted. He said, nobody has business to be here. And now, us family, like my dad and, family, he let, family. But anybody else, he said, I don't want no trespassing. And boy, he meant it too. Anyway, I'd always get there about, now he didn't tell me what time I had to be there. He just said, spend the night. So I spent on, mobile home. I think it was like a 12 by 60. And it was probably about 200 feet from where he's having his house built. A real long driveway. His driveway, not counting the gravel road, his driveway was a mile long. And he actually had a government gate up with no trespassing on it. The government didn't own it. He owned it, not the government, but he just kept the gate. Real nice gate. But anyway, I would ride. Now we're probably about 12 miles from the nearest town, so it's 2.5 miles. His driveway is 1 mile long. Then the gravel road's 2.5 miles long. Now at midnight, and I did this for 2 or 3 months. I told you you're gonna think I'm crazy. For getting paid for basically doing nothing, every night at midnight. You would, if you'd been in a car driving, you would either see me slowly riding a bike, because I didn't have a mountain bike, I had a road bike. You'd either see me walking. I'd say 65-70% I walked that gravel road at night. I had a flat midnight, lonely, isolated. Finally got to the mobile home. And I stayed there till about 7 in the morning, and I left when the workers were coming in. I left as soon as I heard them coming in, and that's about 7 hours stay. But I tell you, you talking about creepy at night. And you know, I always slept with the rifle. He didn't have no bed in there. It was no. I had to sleep on the carpet. I had a sleeping bag, but I always kept the rifle. I didn't keep the rifle loaded. He had a clip. All I had to do is pop that clip in. And I always made sure, you know, it didn't. I could load it fast because I practiced with it. I made sure there was no bullet in the chamber because I was sleeping right next to the rifle. I mean, I was hugging the rifle because you don't know, I'm middle of nowhere, miles middle of nowhere. But anyway, I walked that, oh my God, number of times. And every Friday he worked in Cincinnati. He retired from Chevrolet. Anyway, every Friday he'd come down, drive down, and hand me I think it was $170. So basically, I got paid for doing nothing. Well, you know, technically not doing nothing, but I didn't have to do no labor. He said, absolutely, you know, we shook hands on it. He says, there's no labor involved. All you gotta do is sleep here at night. And, you know, I enjoyed riding a bike anyway. But for several months, until he got the walls up and could lock it up. After he could lock it up, I didn't have to. He didn't want me no more. But that's it's crazy, ain't it? Money talks. But I tell you what, I had a light flashlight, man. You talking about and I had to walk by an old abandoned house. It was probably about 12:20 after midnight. I had to walk by an old abandoned. It'd probably been easier to walk through a cemetery, if that gives you any idea how creepy it was. Yeah, back in 1988, I was that crazy. Oh, God. True story.